Hey everyone, Forever Lego Studios here, back here with another video, and guys, today we have episode 14 of Forever Answering Your Questions. Now, if you're new to this series or new to this channel, basically is a weekly Q&A series I do here on the channel, where each week I ask you guys to leave questions relating to Lego Star Wars, or MOC related questions, and each week I do my best to answer as many as I possibly can. Now, before we get on to today's questions, I do want to quickly mention I am still sick. I mentioned this in last week's episode of Building Camino. I'm still slightly under the weather. That's why my voice is going to sound a bit different than it normally does. Don't worry, I'm feeling better. I'm still going to be pumping out these videos. So, with that all out, let's get on to today's first question. The question of the week comes from Ace Gamer Studios. Yes, how do you feel about that both Rey's parents and Snoke's identity being revealed in The Rise of Skywalker? Now, for Rey's parents, I just never really felt the need that it was that important to me. I know the idea of Kylo Ren stating, "Oh, they were drunkers. They sold you for drinking money, and basically they just sold you to Unkar Plutt, and that's it. That's all that your parents steal." That's fine with me. I actually think that kind of adds more to Rey's character. Like, oh snap, her parents abandoned her, and now she's kind of saved the universe, basically. And so that idea is pretty cool in my mind. I think if they leave it off that, that's perfectly fine by me. If they do something or say something about her lineage, or like if she's a Skywalker, Kenobi, or whatever theories are going around right now, if she is one of those, that's pretty cool, and I'll probably enjoy it. But it's not something that me particularly is also super necessary in my opinion. To answer your other question, the Snoke's identity, again, another. It's not something that I feel like is super necessary. Like, yeah, I would like some more knowledge about the character because he was the ruler or supreme leader of the First Order. So I would like more, backstory and kind of figuring out who his character is and how he is. I don't think he's Palpatine. I don't think he's any of those theories or whatnot. I just think Snoke's Snoke. So that's, I think, who he is. I think Snoke is just a character that rose to power and rose to be the Supreme Leader. And I would just like to know more facts about that, how he became the Supreme Leader, and how he built up the First Order. So that's what in my opinion, is what I care about Snoke's character. His identity, if he was like a character from beyond that, like, oh, he's this character that thought was dead, but now he's really alive. But I don't know. That's just my take on it. Agree with it as you must. The next question comes from Captain Bricks. He asks, have you seen Rogue One, and what are your thoughts on it? Would you ever do a Scarif MOC? So yes, I have seen Rogue One. It's one of my favorite Star Wars films. I've seen it many a times. And what would be my thoughts on doing a Scarif MOC? Again, I really love Rogue One. Again, it's one of my favorite movies. It's got some really awesome climatic scenes, as well as like the overall viewing of the movie. It's just fantastic in my opinion. If you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend you doing it because it's just a fantastic Star Wars film. Now, funny thing, if this is a fact for like a bunch of you older viewers who have been watching this channel for quite a long time, I actually did a Scarif series back in the day when I think it was Rogue One had just come out, and the second wave of sets were coming out with the Y-Wing, the Scarif set, as well as the battle packs. I actually started a build series on that, and it did not go far, and it did not go too well, just because when my mindset was, in my mindset when I was doing the Scarif series, I was more interested in getting sets, building up an army, building up these things, and not actually buying parts. And that's kind of where I fell short, because of the fact that I kept buying these sets and figures, and I just didn't buy any parts, and so I was just going strictly from my parts collection, which was smaller than I do have now. And it just did not end well. I ended that series. Aiden still makes fun of me because it was just a funny little thing. It's like, hey, you remember that Scarif series? And I'm just like, no. But if I would, going back to it, if I think I would ever do a Scarif series, I would love to. I think it would be a fantastic time building it. And I would definitely go all out on it. I'm talking full-on I almost said MT6. ACTs, I'd go full out on those. I'd go full out on the beaches and water and the Citadel and all those different things. I would make a super large Scarif, in my opinion. That's like an idea of battle scenarios and something like that. So if I ever do that again, that's kind of how I would go, making sure that like everything is taken in full force. So hopefully that gets your scare question out of the way. Next comes from the Brick Fanatic. He asked, I can play piano. I've been playing since I was 7. Sadly, my teacher passed away over the summer, but I'm sure I'll get back into the swing of things soon. I apologize for that, man. That really does stink. That's sad to hear that your piano teacher died. But it's awesome that you play piano as well. For those of you who don't know, I'm a pianist. I've been playing piano for, I think, almost 10 years now, so I've been doing it for a long time. It's something that I love doing other than Lego, of course. So, his actual question, he asked, what would be the ideal Lego room for me? Basically, so currently my Lego setup is kind of in my room, half my Lego room or studio, whatever you want to call it. And my ideal one is, for one, my bed not to be in my Lego room. As much as I enjoy, you know, waking up and going straight to building, I just would rather have a little bit more space where I don't have to worry about my bed being in the way. I have just this open amount of space just specifically for Lego. I think that's something that most Lego builders prefer, is having a separate room. That way you can actually enjoy building in a larger space, as well as, like, yeah, I would like my space to be a little bit bigger. That way I can move around, get larger builds, and not worry about, oh snap, I've run out of space for these large builds that I'm building. So I guess my ideal room would be just full-on Lego studio room, nothing too extravagant, but at least a decently large room full of enough space to actually hold my sets or my creations, my large mocks, which I usually do, of course, like Camino. Shout out to that mock right there. As well as to keep my parts collection, because, like, as you guys know, I've got these not really containers, but those shelving units that hold all these pieces. I'd like to eventually get more of those. That way I can kind of build up my sorting ability with parts and collection. So that is at least my ideal for the room. Hopefully it will come in soon, but that's probably later down the road. Next is a question comes from Greg the Gungan. He asks, what is your favorite poly bag? Now I had to go through, actually I had to go through on the internet, try to figure out, kind of refresh my mind on poly bags, just because I don't buy them normally. I rarely ever do, just because I'd rather either spend money on parts now or just straight up buy the figures or sets. So probably my favorite poly bag would have to be the Darth Revan one. I think that's a fantastic figure. My friend Aiden actually got that when it was actually being released. He got the poly bag, and it's a really cool figure. I love the Darth Revan printing and all that. I'm very jealous that he actually got that. And yeah, I think the Darth Revan one would have to be number one. There's some other really cool ones like the Darth Maul one and the Admiral Yularen in the Empire crew. So that's a cool one. But yeah, the Darth Revan poly bag has to be number one. And the final question of the day comes from Imperial Bricks Productions. Yes, the Rogue One waves were definitely hard to beat. This was kind of a question, add-on to last week's question about my favorite wave. Other than Kamino, what is your favorite planet from Star Wars? So I've mentioned many a times that Kamino is actually one of my favorites, if not part of my top 3 favorite planets. I guess the only other ones would have to be either Tatooine. I really love Tatooine because it's a really cool open area. I know it's just a sand planet, yay. But no, I really like Mos Eisley, the pod racings, the huge gorges, the sand crawlers, all those, I almost said banthas, all those Tusken Raiders. Just the overall idea or landscape of Tatooine is one of my favorite planets. Hoth, of course, is another fantastic one. It's iconic. It's one of the most famous battles throughout Star Wars history, the Battle of Hoth, hence why I built it, of course. Other than Hoth and Tatooine and Kamino, I'd probably say Kashyyyk, again, another awesome planet, as well as has fantastic battle scenarios. So those are going to be my, at least I think that would be top 4 planets. So other than that, I think that's going to be it. Hope you all enjoyed this week's episode of Forever Answering Questions. If you have any questions relating to Lego Star Wars, mock related questions, or even, I know the Last Jedi trailer just popped up earlier this week, so if you have any questions relating to that, let me know in the comment section below. I'll get back to you in the next episode. If you enjoyed, definitely smash that like button, as well as if you are new to this channel, definitely subscribe. We have some awesome content coming down the road, including a big update on Kamino. So I think that's going to be it. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.